Beard. We're going to take a look at a boost pedal. It's just not your everyday boost pedal, but before we get into that, I'd like to ask you to consider subscribing to the channel, clicking on the notification bell. Your interaction with us helps us interact with great people in the industry. In this case, jam pedals, but through our relationship with Zzounds, we got out the library card and we were able to get in the Boomster from Jam, which again is a boost pedal, but there is a lot to it, and we're going to get into it.
Right, not your standard boost.
Right.
Because if it was, we probably wouldn't be doing it. I mean, to be honest. And not because boosts are beneath us or something, but I mean, typically they make your guitar louder.
Right.
So I think a perfect example of that is the old LPB1, the New Year Boost, one of the first pedals I think ever from Electro Harmonic. Not this one, of course, but or this version.
Yeah, we're not Josh Scott. That's not the first one.
Yeah, that's not the first one. But you know, it makes your guitar louder, and a lot of what we're going to talk about today, you could get away with something like this. But Jam has added some things into this pedal that make it really unique, make it very interesting, and almost a really essential, maybe not even almost, a really essential piece of kit for any pedal board. So we were talking about this earlier. I mentioned, if you think about it, if you have a pedal board sitting on the floor, you got probably, 10 to 20 foot cable going into the pedal board. You got a 10 to 20 foot cable going back to the amp. That's before you get in all the patch cables. You got 20 to 40 feet of cable right there. So what Jam did is they put a really high quality chip, a really high quality buffer into the pedal. It can be true bypass. You can turn the buffer off, but the bigger question is, why would you want to? Why would you buy this pedal and then not take advantage of that buffer? So out of the gate, you have the buffer. There's a 3-way toggle. We'll get into in a minute. I think first of all should explore what that big red knob does in terms of making your guitar louder. If you set it at 0, you are supposed to be at unity gain. We can check that very easily because in addition to switching the pedal on and off, that's also a momentary switch. So if you press and hold, it will turn it on as long as you hold it. And so if you play a little bit, I can do that. We can check the unity gain.
Paris Silver Sky SE, Tyler JT22, DLS Effects Echo Tour.
Sounds pretty close to me.
Right.
So
I could hear the buffer. I'm just kidding.
And I like that. I mean, why would you put a momentary switch on a boost pedal?
Right. Well, we did ask that question. I asked that question. However you want to use it.
Right. I mean, end of the song, you want to just step on it, hold it, and boost the whole end of the song, the last big chord. Or if you're doing like a turnaround, you have a quick
little hook or something.
Hook in the turnaround. Step on it, hold it. When you take your foot off, it goes off. So you're not like clicking it on, clicking it out. Pretty nice stuff. Let's let you play and roll that red knob up.
All right. Well, I can. Even wound all the way up. It did not get painful. It just drove the amp more.
Right. I forget how many decibels the boost said, 16 or something.
I think 16, yeah.
With the Tyler, it really, it just took it from pretty clean to a nice breakup going on. The other thing on this pedal is you have this 3-way toggle switch. So in the middle position, which is where we've had it, is a very flat response, not changing the EQ of the pedal at all. If we push it up, it attenuates the high end, so it cuts some of the highs out. And if you push it down, it boosts the mids. Of course, Jam Pedals isn't going to just be like, this is what's right for everybody. So on the inside, there's a little trim pot where you can adjust how much you attenuate the highs or adjust how much you boost the mids. We're going to leave it in stock setting for now, but just understand that that is there. It might be really good. What do you want to do first? Probably the highs?
Yeah.
And then... I'm going to let Pat play. We're going to turn the boost pedal on, give it some boost, but not all the way up. And then I'll flip it back and forth between the top and the middle.
I mean, it could be subtle. I mean, so I had a Strat on 2, which is already kind of bright, but you could kind of hear the brightness shave off a little bit. But
we'll do it one more time all the way back on the bridge.
Yeah.
Start in the middle.
Yeah.
You feel like you heard a little bit more?
A little bit more, yeah, because it's already very bright in the bridge. Some Strats can get ear darty, and that does tame it a little bit.
So then, same kind of thing, and we'll go from the middle position, which is flat, down to the boosted mids.
I'll put it back to 2 and turn the volume up.
Cool.
I do like that, especially with a Strat. You know, I used to be sort of anti-mids, but those were nice. I'm not sure what frequency those boost those mids, but it sounds really good.
Yeah. I could see, you know, I think it's hard, even with you playing the way you're playing, just one amp, switching back and forth. But it's that kind of subtle thing, I think, once you get in a band mix, too, that might really,
right,
you know, be that little nuance thing that you're like, oh, you know.
Right.
So, anyway. The other thing we've done is we've put 2 Barber Electronics direct drives down, and we are going to just talk a little bit about using the boost before and after drive. I know a lot of people do that, but also the external, it has a expression pedal jack. And so on the floor, we have Emissions Engineering EP1. Gotta get all my abbreviations right.
That's right.
Mission Engineering EP1 on the floor. That's going to turn this into a volume pedal, whether it's on or off, which is really cool. So, and we want to talk just a little bit about why that's so cool. And I think that's what really puts this pedal over the top in that kind of essential piece of kit thing. So, if I grab the DGT, we're running out of stands down here. Do you want to just A/B the 2 direct drives so people can see they sound pretty similar?
So they're 2 very early, sort of original, one an iteration that's about closer to this time period. So try to get 2 pedals same, set the same.
So,
very close.
Yeah, boost after the drive. So we're hitting the drive, and then we're going to put the boost after it. Let's try that real quick.
You want it flat?
Yeah, with it on the flat. And now we'll do the drive after the boost.
You want boost up?
Just, yes. I feel like the newer one wants to squeal a little better.
It does.
All right. So I tend, personally, boost after the drive.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's a little bit more natural.
Yeah. It's definitely a different characteristic. It does get, like you said, it gets the natural push of the amp more gain per se. When you do it the other way, you're just adding more signal to an already driven.
Yeah. You're pushing the gainy pedal.
Right.
This way you're pushing the amp.
2 different sounds, 2 different feels.
So, because this has an out for an expression pedal, that turns it into a volume knob, and that works whether it's on or not. So even with the pedal off, if So I can use that as a volume pedal even with it off. What we're going to do is let's turn on the drive before the pedal. And then I'm going to play the volume knob of the guitar, and then I'm going to play the volume knob on the pedal. Hopefully I'm explaining this right. This is
smart, yeah.
All right,
if I understand it, he's explaining it right.
All right, here we go. So start with the guitar, then the pedal. Okay, so volume knob on the guitar is before the drive pedal. Roll it back, cleans up your pedal, almost like a tone control. I've joked for years that, like, here's my gain staging, right? You know, overdrive pedal's on, roll the volume back, first gain stage, roll it up a little bit. With the volume pedal behind the drive, when you pull it back, you keep the overdrive.
Right.
So one of the situations I always found myself in is somebody would be like, can you give me a really heavy driven tone, but not so loud?
Right.
Because the only way for me to get to full drive is to roll all the way up.
Mm-hmm.
Doing this allows me to pull that volume pedal back a little bit and keep the drive. Yeah. Driving the expression pedal with your left foot.
Yeah, right.
It's a little difficult. So by putting it before the drive, it's just redundant.
Right.
Like, you're not adding anything. Everything you would do with the volume pedal, you could have done with your guitar knob. Although some people, you know, they don't want to use the guitar knob, right? So they want to use the volume pedal. What else?
The drive, the boost on with the drive, right?
We could do that, right?
Yeah. You want to start from back, or you want to go back to the...
It doesn't matter.
Let's go here. And we just want to leave it flat? Or
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
So driving with the left foot, right. What's my excuse over on the guitar?
Right. You're thinking about your left foot.
Yeah. So very cool. One of the things I really like about this situation then too is if you're not like a volume pedal guy, which I'm not, it's handy sometimes, but not handy enough that I want to put a big volume pedal in the middle of my pedal board. We could put this anywhere on the pedal board. Run a TRS cable, make a TRS cable that goes out to your interface on the side of your pedal board, and then carry an expression pedal, like,
For example,
the EP1 from Mission. So you can put an expression pedal in your bag, have one, and then whenever you need it, short TRS cable, plug it into that the side of your board and just throw it on the floor. You don't have to power it or anything, so
right.
that would be really sweet. So that'd be one way to do it. Just it opens up some flexibility there. You let you put the volume pedal anywhere you want on your pedal board without having to get something like that in the middle. So super cool. Anything else? Or are we wrapping up? We're wrapping up.
I think we are wrapping up. And so, again, I find myself more and more, well, I don't use this type of pedal. I don't use that type of pedal. I don't use this type of pedal necessarily. I don't necessarily use a boost, but this one has me intrigued in part because of the tone shaping capabilities. So I have a Hendrix 50 amp that is very unforgiving when you switch guitars. So I basically have it set for a Strat. And if I go plug in a humbucker, I feel like I got to twist the knobs on the amp. And if you're playing out, you might want to switch guitars. So could this be a solution to that? Either, tame the humbucker or tame, whichever one you want to affect with that, you could. Mm-hmm. And I could maybe get it to get the frequencies right and the volume output right, that I could switch guitars with ease and just step on that pedal. That's one thought that I've had about how I could use it. I did really like just playing the Silver Sky straight. Even when you turned it all the way up, I like those sounds. A lot of times with a boost, I don't like the boosted sound, but I thought it really drove the amp nicely. So it
kept the original tone of the
right.
guitar.
It sounded really good as it got loud. I expected even with 16 dB to be like heading for the hills when we turned it all the way to the right, and we didn't. So it's a really interesting pedal. I mean, it's got what, $219 price point. Probably an affiliate link for that if you want to go buy one through Zzounds. But it does a lot. And the quality components inside with the buffer and everything, I don't know. It's a really cool piece, and the artwork is fantastic, as Jam always does.
Yeah,
It's
Jam always looks cool. Their packaging even looks cool. For me, I mean, something as simple as, I'm going to switch from like a Les Paul or PRS to a Strat or Silver Sky or something. Go from humbuckers to single coils. Mm-hmm. Being able to have a boost pedal in the middle that just bumps it up enough to make that happen. Or a lot of times, just going to a very clean sound, I might want to boost that very clean sound a little bit. Right. I think a lot of times we think about, how do I boost my overdrive and get more overdrive?
Right.
Sometimes if we're doing something that's a little funky or whatever, and I want a really sparkly, spanking, clean tone, being able to boost that up a little bit, kick it up a notch, is nice too. And that would be perfect for that. And then again, volume pedal anywhere you want it. Great buffer, so I know there's at least 40 foot of cable, a minimum, because I'm not any of the patch cables, right, on my pedal board, so a really good buffer is good too. So I think we'll always just stop to say thanks for watching, thanks for hitting the subscribe button. If you do, click a notification bell, liking the video, leaving a comment down below. Anytime you interact with the show, that's what helps us interact with cool people in the industry to hopefully bring cool stuff to you. And like in this case, this is how we made that relationship with Zzounds, getting great gear to share with you. So with that,
I'm PJ on behalf of the Beard, reminding no matter what you hear, you never have too much gear.